My name is Braxton McCoy. I'm a professional colt starter in Idaho, and this is how I gun break a colt. Now, you might do it different, and you might even do it better. I don't know, but this is how I do it, and it works for me. At the end of this day, he's not going to be ready to go out to a mounted shooting competition, but he's going to be well on his way. And so I'll show you all the process and kind of talk you through it. And if you like this kind of stuff or you want to see more of it, let me know down below, and I'll show you guys some more of that stuff. Also, I have a book called The Glass Factory about my time in Ramadi, Iraq, and recovering afterwards, and a podcast called The Braxton McCoy Show that covers other stuff, not just horses. Check those out too. So we're going to start with a whip, and we're not going to make a loud cracking sound or anything like that. We're just going to bring it up and around his ears and let it make that swishing sound in the air and the slapping sound on the ground. Just give him something to think about and start slow as always. And you can see right here he doesn't like that. And I'm bumping on his nose, and it might look like I'm pulling on him, but I'm really not. I'm just trying to keep his nose turned toward me so that he can't get around me and kick at me. So if their nose and neck is bent to you, they can't get their butt to you to kick. So you can see we're still just going slow, almost like we're casting a fly or something like that. Pick up the speed a little bit, hit the ground a little bit harder. And we're just going to iterate on this and see what we're looking for is for the horse to just stand there and relax and realize that this is not a cue. I'm not telling him to go. I'm not, it's not something scary that he needs to be worried about. So long as he's with me, this is just a sound that's nothing. It's not a damn snake that's going to eat him or, a wildcat or anything like that. It's just a whip. So just move it around, and now I'll pick it up a little bit. I took that little step over to try to get him so he wasn't lined up at me where he couldn't. You want to give the horse a place to go that's not right over the top of you, and that's true with just about everything, and that's what I was doing there. So now we picked it up more, and I'm actually cracking the whip now. Not real hard, but fairly hard. And that break in between, that's actually the release from the pressure. So the way the horse's mind works, at least for purposes of training, is you're going to put some pressure on him because you want him to do a thing, and then whenever he does that thing, you're going to release the pressure. And that way he's learned that he can get away from whatever it is that he doesn't like, and it gives him some sort of kind of control and power of the situation, so things can become more like his idea because he can say, well, if I just relax or walk away in this case, or excuse me, relax in this case, or walk away in the case of a flag or something like that, then I don't have to deal with this pressure anymore. And then everything that you really want the horse to do starts to feel like his idea. And that'll help as you go, even on all of your other kind of things that you're trying to teach a horse, whether it's a side pass or a spin or anything like that. You can be working off that same pressure and release principle with everything. And it helps as well with a colt to, because sometimes you're going to want to let them have like a win. You don't want to be the guy that's just, well, a lot of times you're going to want to let them have a win, but you don't want to be the guy that's telling them no all the time. So every once in a while you let them have their own win. And as long as they understand the pressure and release thing, you can kind of do that. But if they don't understand that part, then they're just taking advantage of you. So see, he's doing really good right there, even cracking the whip loud. So I gave him a little break, pat his head, tell him, hey, you're doing a good job. So we're going to start slow on this left side now, or the right side of the horse. So the old adage is that horses have two minds, and I don't know if that's true or not, but they definitely do perceive things differently on each side. And almost always, this side of the horse that you're looking at now, this right side, the horse will be a little bit more spooky on that side. Almost every colt I've ever started has been like that, and a lot of times, I think it gets exacerbated because most of us are right-handed, so we're going to hold our whatever implement that we're using to start these colts in our right hand and have the lead rope in our left hand, or the McCoy rein or whatever it is in our left hand. And what that does is it's sort of an internal bias. So we're right-handed and we're more comfortable with that hand, so we end up spending more time working that side of the horse just by nature. So if you're starting a colt on anything, gun breaking, anything like that, you want to make sure you're spending extra time on that offhand side. because I guarantee you don't do it enough. You think you do. But so we've went through and cracked the whip off of him, and now we're just going to shoot a couple 22 rounds into the ground. And the angle of this shot makes it look like maybe it's not safe, but I promise you it's safe. There's nothing back there. And I mean, it's a 22 shooting into the sand. It's not going anywhere anyway. But even if it were, you know, say it hits a rock and skips or something, it's not. It ain't. There's nothing back there but a darn pivot. So. So as you can see, he's great right here. I'm gonna kick the shells out and then start on the other side. And you'll see again that this is the side that he doesn't like very much, which again is normal. But that's the side that we need him to be good at because I'm right-handed. So when I'm on his back, everything is opposite. I need to use that side whether I'm roping or shooting or anything. So we want to make sure we do a good job. And what you saw right there was he lifted up, almost kind of half-reared. It's because he didn't really like it, so I thought, well, he's not ready yet for the gun, so I went and grabbed the whip, the little buggy whip again, and started working on that side. You see right here how he's relaxing and putting his head down after some of the breaks. That's what we're really looking for when we're getting him going, is for him to just kind of relax. And see that head throw he's doing it as my arm goes up, and I know that. He's not actually moving at the crack of the whip. He's anticipating the crack of the whip. So you try to keep the pressure on until he does that, and then you relax, or release the pressure rather, and come back to this side, or excuse me, then give him a break and then start over. This is just a different camera angle, same little sequence. And you can see a marked improvement already. For those who don't know, I figured I'd show you. When you're loading a single action, you want to load one, skip one. We're talking holes in the cylinder. Load one, skip one, load four. And that way when you draw the hammer back and drop it, you know it's on an empty cylinder, and that way you're safe when you're on your horse. If you got bucked off or something, there's no way for it to go off. So that's what that's in there for. Okay, so we worked with him some more, and now you can see I got a little bit bigger bubble in the rope, but I'm just going to let him see it from this side. See, he's still not perfect, and he's not going to be perfect today. You know, we don't need him to be perfect. We just need to get him going, and we'll work on it over the next couple weeks, and then pretty soon he will be darn perfect. So good. See, small reaction, puts his head down. Lowering their head is a sign that they're relaxing for sure, because if they get a shot of adrenaline, they got that nervous system that runs straight down their back all the way up to the top of their head. So when they get a big shot of neuroepinephrine, their head goes up, and they can't really control it. It's a prey animal thing. I mean, they can control it, but they can't control the reaction itself. They can also lift their head, obviously, but in this case, it's the shot of adrenaline. See, he's not, he's still picking his head up and all of that, but there's no more hopping around. He's not trying to get away from me. He's just like, hey, I don't really love that very much, and that's okay. It's fine by me. See, I'm going to get a little bit closer to him now, because now I'm going to simulate how it would be to actually be in the saddle. And again, we're shooting out toward the field here. Give him a good break.
Sorry, buddy.
See? So good. Now we're going to get on his back, or I'm going to get on his back rather, and do all the same stuff. Try to start slow with that whip. You don't need it to crack right away, but see, he's not moving. He's doing a good job. Pretty relaxed, so I start cracking it. And the crack of that whip is simulating the gunshot in a safer way, is what it really is. And it's getting him used to lots of other things too. This will help make him even better with your roping and all that kind of stuff as well.
Just keep it up
Now I'm cracking that thing pretty hard, and he's doing good. I mean, he's picking up his head. He doesn't love it, and that's okay, like I say. See, right there, we want to give him a good rest right there. That's just what we want. If he's going to throw his head too much, then we'll pick it up and crack a little bit more. Good job, horse. Same thing, we're going to switch to the other side. Start slow, and you can see here a little better. You want to take care to make sure that you're not going to accidentally whip him in the leg. First, you want the rope to go around his leg or near to his leg, and even around it sometimes. What I was doing there is just in case something went wrong, you want to be in control of that. So you do want it to touch him, but you want it to touch him soft for a minute, and then you can pick up that whip and go and start whipping and keep it away from him. But by preparing him, just in case you screwed up and accidentally whipped his ankle, he's not going to pile your butt up in the middle of that round pen. And I've got his butt up against the back side of the pen here so that he feels like he's got a nice big place to go out forward if he wants to, so he doesn't have to be too afraid of anything. He doesn't feel like he's trapped in. Perfect. Good job. See, now he's ready for the gun again here in a second. We're going to walk him around and make sure that he's able to tolerate all of this stuff while he's moving too. We don't want to do it just standing. I think it really helps to ensure for both horse and rider that they're confident enough to do it while they're moving, so kind of toward and near the sound. That makes it so you know that they're going to be safe for you whenever that time comes and you decide you got to shoot something. Okay, here we go. We're going to pick him up a little bit. And again, ensuring that I'm whipping the ground behind him and not him. See, notice how smooth and easy he's walking, even though he's throwing his head around. That's a good sign that he's not too distressed. There's no tension up in that shoulder. He's fairly loose on his back end. He's not braced up or anything like that. So you know he's doing pretty good. He just doesn't love it, and that's why he's throwing his head. And I didn't start this colt. It got brought to me by someone else, and I'm riding. And I think he is getting better every day, and now I think he's going good enough for us to take a shot. So I'm just going to shut up and let you guys listen to that organic audio. Good enough for the day. So that's how I gun break him. And there at the end you could hear me dropping that hammer on an empty cylinder, and you could hear it intermittently throughout the video. I do that so that he stops anticipating a gunshot every time he hears that hammer going back, because the last thing you want is to draw your hammer back and have to be shooting something quick and trying to take a steady aim and that horse is moving around. So we don't want him to think a gunshot's going to go off every single time he hears that hammer move. Alright, if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe, because I could use some more YouTube followers. And this thumbnail that's up here right now is the thumbnail for my podcast. It's available on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, all that kind of stuff. So you can follow me there, or you can find me on Twitter or Instagram or at braxtonmccoy.com. Thank you all for your time, and please comment and tell me if you like this kind of stuff and you want more of it. Thank y'all.